Hey people, this is Jacob here at Sutherland Chevrolet in Nicholasville, Kentucky. We had a very interesting debate last night on television, but what is not up for debate is how wonderful this Buick Enclave is. I'm going to walk around the outside here, kind of show you the good, the bad, and ugly, then we'll go on to the interior and do the same. First off, I notice a little spot right here that may or may not come off in detail. Little bug guts right here, that'll come off. Let's look at the wheels. This wheel looks good. I'm not seeing any scuffs or anything. You got a couple little nicks right here, little rock chips. Rest of this door looks good. Windows look good. The roof looks good. You have power fold in, fold out mirrors here, which are really nice if you're parking in a garage, or parking next to other people in a busy parking lot. Everything I'm seeing here looks like it'll clean up pretty good. It just needs another bath. What do we got here? Some bug guts. I'm rubbing those off with my thumb. I feel good about that. These bug guts. Yeah, that'll come off. That'll come off as well. This wheel, the front driver's side wheel, looks good. Okay, these hoods and these painted front bumpers, right? A lot of vehicles have this now, especially with crossover SUVs like this. So it's kind of a hot spot for rock chips and so forth and so on. So I noticed a little spot right here that maybe looks like it was touched up or something. I can't really tell what's going on there. Something sat on the paint. Actually, you know what? That's probably bug guts, and that'll rub off. There we go, it's gone. You got a couple rock chips right here. I'm noticing one right there as I'm getting closer. One all the way up here. Another spot like that I'm sure will rub off. It just needs another bath. I could be touching bird poop. I don't know. I need to wash my hands. Let's look around the rest of this front bumper. You got a spot. What is that? That's a rock chip right there. It's very common, you know, where rocks get flung up. All the vehicles designed now, you know, they're not as aerodynamic as cars are. There's more surface area for rocks to hit. Therefore, there's going to be more rock chips, you know. So there's one right here, one right there, right there, right there. It's pretty normal, you know, for having some miles on it, you know. It's in really great shape, you know. Everything looks good over here. Gotta get my big shadow out of the way. Couple little spots right there. I'm really just thinking that that's dirt. Yeah, that'll come off. Spot down here that should come right off. So everything is looking pretty good. Let's see down here. Again, I think it just needs to be cleaned up a little more. Yeah, that's just a little dead fly or something, a little gnat. Things are looking pretty strong over here. Did I miss that wheel? I don't remember. We're gonna look at it. It all looks great. No scuffing or any nonsense there. Things look good back here. What is this? Dead bug. Wheel looks really good. What have we got on the tailgate here? There's a little rock chip. Maybe that's a little rock chip. Nope. Maybe, I can't tell. That might come off. That should come off. Of course, you got some bird there. That'll come off. Yeah, I think it just really needs another bath. I think that's what it needs. You got, and I'm going to open this, but you got some little, something's probably rubbed up against it there. Just a little, you know, paint missing. But I think it mainly just needs another bath. I think a lot of this will come off with a good bath. And I'm going to open up the hatch here. Had to think about where the button was. When it reverses, it's lower. You got some space back here. You got some hidden storage there. You got power third row. Now the second row seats are a little too far back to actuate that completely. So I'll come up here and I'll probably have to drop the phone to do this. There we go. That seat's raised. Ooh, and look at the stitching there. Doesn't that look good? Around to the other side. Do the same thing here. There we go. So they fold flat, they power back up. I'm gonna power them back down for now. Actually, let's bring them back up. I can't make up my mind. And of course, you got power for the hatch here. You've got a power button up front. You get the power button here. You got a power button on the key fob for raising and lowering that back hatch. And so this is with the seat all the way up. Obviously, there's not much space there. A child probably be fine. I'm 6'4" and over 300 pounds, so I probably need to move the seat back a little bit. But the interior is in really great shape. You do have these lovely floor liners here. Let me go to a wider angle lens so you can see things a little better. But these floor liners here go all the way back there in the third row. You do have heated seats in the second row, which is nice. You got some outlets there. You got a 120 volt outlet here, which is cool. You do have some exterior, well, sorry, not exterior, rear HVAC controls down here. Of course, pocket in the seats, pocket in the seat there. I'm gonna go around up front. Ooh, something I missed, which I don't think I have a way to put it back from back here, is you do have this moonroof here, and then you have a sunroof up front. So the moonroof doesn't move, the sunroof will actually go forward and backward, but this just allows you to let some extra light in. So far, we're gonna go up front. Things look really great in the rear interior. I didn't notice anything there that was out of the ordinary or weird. Down here, you got some spot that maybe can get cleaned up a little better here in the speaker grill for the Bose stereo. I'm gonna pull the door in. You got some wood paneling here, locks, unlocks. You do have memory seats. I'm gonna turn the air down a little bit. It might pick up loudly in my phone. There we go. So your memory seats are there, so you can set the seat for, you know, multiple people, and or be able to recall it easily if, you know, maybe you let a friend drive or something like that. Underneath that, you've got your mirror adjustments, your power mirror adjustments. You select the mirror you would like to adjust, and then you make the adjustment. Well, actually, let's fold those out so I can actually show you that. So select the mirror you actually want, and then you can make the adjustment. There we go. It's adjusting. Okay. When no mirror is selected, it just does nothing. You won't mess with the mirrors. You won't accidentally mess with them or anything. Below that, you've got this guy over on the left that locks people from messing with the windows, and then this button on the right, which will fold the mirrors in and fold the mirrors out. Behind that, you've got your window actuators. Over here, we're going to switch to the more forward lens here. So you've got your parking brake, which is electronic. The beauty of that is, let's say you accidentally leave it on, you decide you want to go for a drive, it'll turn itself off. Over here you have your heads-up display, which is a very nice feature. I don't know if it'll show up in the camera very well. It shows up a little bit, and we'll zoom in for that. But you can kind of see it there, but because the refresh rate at which it's refreshing and my phone are not in sync, you're seeing it kind of disappear there. In real life, it doesn't look like that, okay? And it's a little bit clearer to see. It doesn't pick up in the camera super great, but it's not supposed to either. So, but it can show you different information. It can show you navigation instructions. It can show you the speed that you're going. It can show you kind of like a tachometer, what you're listening to on the radio. All kinds of different information can be displayed up there. And it's nice because you can just look up there. You don't have to look down here. You can just kind of drive like you normally would, and it displays that information. Some people don't like it, and it can be, if you turn the brightness all the way down, it does disappear. It turns itself off, and then as you turn the brightness back up, it'll come right back up again. On your steering wheel, you got a ton of different buttons, okay? You've got your heated steering wheel here. You've got forward collision alert, which you can adjust the distance or gap for that. Here you've got your cruise control. Over here on the right, you can answer phone calls or bring up the voice assistant on your phone with this button. The button below it hangs up phone calls or hangs up the voice assistant, or just like now, mutes the radio. I'm going to turn it back on. Over here, you've got buttons that show you all this different trip information and all kinds of different things in the gauge cluster. You can change what you're listening to on the radio. You can have it show navigation information, all kinds of craziness. You do have paddle shifters here, which is a pretty sporty thing. So you can kind of manually shift up and down gears, almost like it's a manual. You just don't have to work the clutch. Behind the steering wheel, you also have some hidden buttons, which I'm going to try and show you back here on the right side and back here on the passenger side. And they on the right side, they'll turn the volume up and down for the radio. We'll turn it up there. Then we turn it back down, and then on the other side, they adjust through your different memorized stations on the stereo, your favorites. Your power button is here. Your horn, of course, is there. Over here, this is where the minutia of what people want to see is the stereo these days, because they've gotten so crazy. But you do have some buttons surrounding it. So this button will turn off the auto stop start feature. If you're not familiar with auto stop start, it will stop the engine in certain scenarios at stoplights and stop signs to save fuel economy. As we were growing up, we were generally all taught that the vehicle turning off while you're driving, it's probably a bad thing, but you have to get over that these days. That stuff's changed. They realized they can squeeze a little bit better fuel economy if they shut the engine off at certain times, and they use a heavy-duty starter to offset that. I can go into more detail if you like in person or over the phone, but I'll leave that alone for now. You can turn that feature on and off, though, if you don't like it with this button here. The all-wheel drive is right underneath that, which will kind of lock in the all-wheel drive system for you. There's a mode button here, so you do have some driving modes. You have a touring, which is your regular driving mode, a sport mode, and then a tow haul mode. So stuff to play with there. Over on the right side, you've got this little guy, which turns your hazard lights on. Your parking sensors can be turned on and off here, and your lane change alert. That's the one where you're going over into the other lane, and you have to be going about 53, 55 miles an hour for that to work in the Chevrolets, to my understanding. Or sorry, the General Motors vehicles. This is General Motors. This is an Enclave. This is not a Chevrolet. I apologize. Okay, but that button turns that feature on and off. If you're not using your turn signal like you're supposed to, and you start going to the other lane, the car will start beeping at you, beep, 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 and let you know, hey, pay attention to the road. It's kind of what it's saying with that. If you don't like that feature, it can be turned off right here. I say leave it on. It's there to keep you safe. So back to the stereo. We're going to hit OK to this. We're going to hit the home button. You've got audio, which will take you to all the radio-like functions, AM, FM, Sirius, all that good stuff. Music via traditional Bluetooth. Phone, you can connect phones here. You can set up favorite contacts, go to your recents contacts, you can type in phone numbers, all that good stuff. Of course, the vehicle also has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Those are features I can give you a little bit more information on, but essentially, as long as your phone's new enough, you plug it in, or you can do it wirelessly these days in a lot of the vehicles. I'll have to double check and make sure this one has that capability, but I imagine that it does. You can plug it up, or like I said, project it wirelessly with Bluetooth, and it'll essentially project a extension of your phone screen up here on the display. So, but I'll leave details out for now because I'm making this video go pretty long as it is. Navigation, of course, brings up the built-in navigation in the car, which is nice. Oop. So you can go in here. They've updated this quite a bit from more of our traditional navigation system, so it is a lot more modern, a lot easier to use. You can type in addresses or kind of what you're looking for, if you're looking for a McDonald's or a Speedway or anything, There's also some quick buttons for those things down here. So you'll see that I went to audio, phone, navigation up here. There's repeats of those buttons down here because they're kind of things that you might want to get to easily. The vehicles have Wi-Fi built in. That's something that you can pay monthly for if it benefits you at all. I can go into more detail on that in person or over the phone. You do have some HVAC controls for both the front and the rear. Of course, you have physical HVAC controls down here for the front and physical back there for the rear, back behind us. But you do have some redundancy here, so you do have an easy way to adjust the rear. Like right now, the rear's turned off. I can turn it on back on. I can set it on automatic. I can set it to synchronize with the front. You can set temperatures kind of like you do with a home HVAC system. So we get a very nice vehicle here, very modern. Okay, we're gonna go back home for now. I'm probably gonna leave most of the rest of this alone for the time being, but there are more details if you'd like. Down here, you've got heated seats, cooled seats. The cooled seats are on right now because it's 80-something degrees outside, maybe 90. I don't even know. It's 93 degrees outside. It tells me right in front of me. I'm just not looking at it. Underneath the HVAC controls down here, you've got SD card. I would not take that out. That SD card is for the navigation, and it requires that for that information. And here you've got a USB-C and a USB Type-A for plugging in devices and charging them, or you could plug like a USB device in down here if it has music on it, like a USB drive, and listen to the music up here from the drive. You do have a wireless charger down here, which is really, really nice, because you can just drop your phone and forget it. You don't have cables going everywhere unless you want them. And then your shifters down here. So this is a little bit interesting. They started moving these shifters a couple years ago, and they've been very reliable for us. But you got your actual park is just pressing this button. Reverse is pulling up here. Neutral is pressing this button. Drive is pulling up here, and low is pressing this button. So the easiest way to remember these things is drive and reverse. So things that are going to have you moving the vehicle forward and backward, those are pull. Okay, you pull on those. For park, neutral, and low, they are just push buttons. So, so yeah. You got some cup holders here. You see that I have an L8 with me, and keys as well. You do have up here, you've actually got kind of two things. So you've got your traditional mirror. You can see me in there. That's terrible. Let's move that away. You don't want to see that. And then, but if I flick this down, it actually has a camera on the back of the hatch in the rear, and it's projecting that image up on the screen here. So the benefit of that is, let's say you got someone sitting in the middle in the third row, their big head's not in the way, you can see things clearly. This also gives you a little bit of a wider angle as far as viewing to the left and the right, so it can be very beneficial on the interstate or highways, or even in parking scenarios. When something's kind of in your blind spot, this will give you a little bit better view of that. Now you do have, which I forgot to mention, in your mirrors, you do have blind spot monitors, which I'll try to show you here. No, they're not really picking up in the camera super well, but there they are. Those will light up orange when someone's in your blind spot. Again, another very nice safety feature. You do have some, I'm going to switch hands so I can not be in front of the camera here. You do have some brightness settings. You can zoom in and out. So that's the most out, but you can even zoom in with it. And then you also can move it up and down a little bit to kind of find a sweet spot for the viewing angle for you. So that kind of goes over all that. Up here, you've got universal home remote is what they call this feature, but it's a garage door opener. It can be synchronized with most modern garage door openers fairly easily. Some of the older ones are a little bit more tricky, but I haven't found one that doesn't work with it yet. You've got OnStar buttons up here, which I can go into a little more detail in person or over the phone. They offer some different safety features for the vehicle. They also are how you get Wi-Fi in the vehicle through OnStar services, and some more things. Up here, you've also got some buttons for turning the lights on and off in the vehicle. What else am I missing? We've got, the sunroof. So you press this button here, that releases backward, and then this button in the middle that I'm pressing is bringing back the rear sunshade. And then I'm pressing a button over on the driver's side that is making that glass go back and forward. There we go. You also have tilt on the passenger side. Well, that just made that go back. What have I done? There we go. You just press it. That makes it tilt. So that way you can vent, and we'll drop that for now. You've got a sunglasses holder up there. Of course, visors, the vanity mirrors, and lights on both sides. This has become kind of standard equipment, but I at least like to show people that it still exists. You got a button here that'll open up this area, and I know this looks shallow. You do have a hidden compartment underneath, and this is more or less for pins or, you know, little gadgets and gizmos. Down here, of course, you still have a glove box. And a owner's manual, so pretty regular stuff, but the interior is in really fantastic shape. I'm not noticing any real craziness or blemishes or anything other than this little spot in the door, but I imagine that's possible to clean up. Again, this is Jacob at Sutherland Chevrolet in Nicholasville, Kentucky. Let me know if there's any more information I can get you. This is our Buick Enclave, and have a wonderful day.